Today's video is all about the weapons in Kaiju number 8. We're going to talk about the 3 different sets of weapons. Yeah, there's 3 different sets of weapons. You may not know, but I'm going to give you guys a full rundown on them overall. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And let me know in the comments down below which weapon set you think you're using the most on your characters, of course. So firstly, if you, I don't believe you get it unless you buy the battle pass, but these 5 weapons, or what is this? There's more than 5, hello? All these weapons, anyway, you're not getting any of these if you don't buy the battle pass, I don't believe. Maybe there's a chest on this top row. You guys can let me know so I don't have to confirm. But either way, it's a battle pass exclusive set, which is interesting because they don't actually give you enough chests to fully enhance the weapons either. So that's another thing that I think could be problematic a little bit. But I've been sitting on one for a while. I only had 2. And so you could go in here and you choose whichever one you want as a selector and you go from there. You got it. Great, right? So for me, I actually had chose the rifle. I used this rifle a good bit as my primary weapon for Reno until I actually pulled his. I wasn't even really trying. I used a few dupes and I got Reno's twice. So that was nice, I guess. I wasn't even trying for it. And all the weapons, firstly, just like all the characters, everything's just good. We're at a point where there's not really anything that's particularly bad. But I do think, for the record, that from what I've seen mostly across the board, there could be some variance in there, but mostly across the board, I would say that the gacha versions are the best versions. So let's just go ahead and show you everything that you need to see. So there's that, right? Those are the battle pass ones. If we go to this shop here, you can see... and then also Reno's weapon is there, of course. So that one's kind of by itself. But these are actually the ones that are in the gacha themselves. So you will pull, these are the ones you're pulling. Like if you're pulling and you're getting weapon drops, these are the characters and weapons that you're pulling. Again, pay attention to the names of these. The easy way is to just track the axe name, I guess, right? AX0112. And then over here, weapon exchange, this is the same thing, so that one kind of doesn't really count. This is how you can convert into that. I have a video where I explain how you can get any weapon you want from this list once per month. But Axvar, here's the other set from Proof of Valor. This is what you get, I believe, from Fierce Battle. I believe you get these tokens from Fierce Battle. So these are an entirely different set, and then again, we already talked about the Battle Pass one, so that's how it looks ultimately. So I want to kind of, and I wish this game had like a codex, as it's called in solo leveling, a place to go, a library, a place to go to see all the available stuff, and then, you know, you could see what you do and don't have. The good news is there's a lot of real estate on this screen right now, on this menu screen. There's like so much space across that they could put a bunch more stuff. You just know they're going to keep adding to this as this goes and they add more content. But for now, that isn't a thing. So I've got to kind of bounce around and we'll just kind of review them, I guess, as we go. And since we're here, we'll start off with these. So Axvar, let's see what this one does. The attack goes up, slash damage up by 17% as the base goes up to 23. By the way, quick note, the only ones you can max out right now are the ones from there. As you see, from the gacha, as you see, you only can exchange for one of these, right? You could only exchange 2 for the chests from the battle pass. So this method from here and the battle pass are 2 that are going to take a period of time. I am assuming the battle pass versions, those chests will stay in there for quite a while because that's the only way you can get them. So they're going to have to leave them in there for a good amount of time. So months, right? Unless they put them elsewhere, I guess. But anyway, so, and then here, this will reset every 22 days. So, like, this is a very long-term thing between this and the Battle Pass. So, the gacha, again, that's also why I think that just generally speaking, across the board, the ones from the gacha are the best because you can pull them. It's unrestricted. You can put them on. You're going to have dupes on them much more consistently and easily, even if they are kind of just in there as unfeatured and random stuff. The rates in this game are higher than a lot of games nowadays. So, you're gonna pull them. In fact, you may be somebody that's done nothing but pull weapons. That's a thing, too, because they drop quite a bit. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with Proof of Valor, like we brought up. Axvar. After the equipped unit attacks, applies attack plus 7% to the equipped unit, maximum of 3 stacks. So that's not bad. This actually fits perfectly into Kikoru's playstyle with the tip-top shape, or whatever it's called, where she gets those extra stacks. This is perfect. It's quite literally an extension of that passive. After the equipped unit causes a kaiju to be core exposed, gets a damage dealt plus 12% bonus, as well to the unit. So if we go over to Kikoru, which I can do from here, so like I still haven't really fully gone through all these dupes on these characters aside from just like on a surface level. But I know that she did have a bunch of different bonuses that she's triggering. So attack, crit damage there, defense down. Where is it at? Here it is. I was like, I know she's got another damage dealt in here. So yeah, if the kaiju is below 50%, she's going to pop off and give them another 20%. So that's huge. That's something I forgot about in my showcase video for her, which I guess you guys will see soon, if you haven't already. So like all that stuff kind of fits together perfectly for her. But I mean, just briefly, AX0112, after the equipped unit activates a combat skill, gets more attack. So it's 9% for 2 turns as opposed to the different number. And then it stacks 3 times before the equipped unit attacks a kaiju that already has a debuff, applies damage dealt plus 15% for 2 turns to the equipped unit. So you could argue what you think is better in terms of like how you value that stuff. But again, I think that those are just better because you can get dupes on them more consistently and more reliably. However, if you don't have them and you don't want to pull anymore and you're planning on exchanging here or you're planning on exchanging in the battle pass, that's an entirely different discussion, right? Like that's an entirely different thing if you're going to rely on one of these weapons to hold you over until you get the Gacha one, whenever that could be. And lastly, since we've kind of just gone through and covered the weapons in just like a singular format of like all axes, we might as well just do that here and grab the battle pass one. So this one's unique. It gives crit rate, which I actually think is really good for Kikoru because she's got the crit damage. So I think this one is super strong on her. And with her first dupe, I know she picks up crit rate, but it's not as consistent, anywhere near as consistent as what this is. After the equipped unit defeats a kaiju, she gets a 2-turn attack bonus as well of 18%. So have her just go in there and finish off a kaiju, and then you get 2 turns of that. You've always got that extra 16% crit rate. She's obviously going to be stacking up. It's nothing flashy, but I think that's really, really strong overall as a choice to have. I believe they all are giving 16% crit rate as well. So there's that. No, defense up. So at least a couple of them are giving that. So that's another thing to consider. But yeah, I think that one's really good. I think if I had a choice between all 3 and I could max any of them out, I would probably choose the battle pass one as my choice. Anyway, let's cover the rifle. This is the one I had used on my Reno for quite a while until I got his Boreas. So we'll actually read Boreas as well because it is the other rifle here. Crit rate up after the equipped unit activates combat skills, gets a 2-turn 6% attack increase as well, stacks 3 times. So kind of tricky to get 3 stacks in there for 2 turns, right? So there's that. So I mean, you're probably just gonna have 2. So attack up, crit rate up. Very, again, simple, very short and sweet. How much are stats changing? 527, 351. This is something I don't really consider too much because they don't make like the humongous difference. Like as long as they're leveled up, as long as you have stats on there, then it's not a humongous thing. See, these are a little bit higher, but it's not anything crazy. So Boreas is better. It's the best one by far. It's just for the record. But it is also mostly specific to Reno, and there are other rifle characters. So do with that what you will. This one has a higher crit rate, just out the jump, right? After the equipped unit activates a combat skill, applies ice damage dealt. So again, that's like exclusive to Reno right now. And unique gauge charge rate to the equipped unit. That last bit could be pretty good. If you've got this and you don't have Reno for some reason, the ultimate gauge charge rate, is actually pretty good on anybody. So crit rate and ultimate is still a really solid combination for a weapon, whether you have Reno or not. And then lastly, the other rifle, was that it? It almost looked like the cannon to me. It is the cannon. Is there not a third rifle? There actually is not there's only 6 weapons here. There's actually not a third rifle. Okay, well, I mean, that makes sense. And not there anyway. I'm sure they have one here. Yeah, so maybe that's because Boreas. Hey, low key. Hold on. They think they're slick. And what I mean by that is there's not a 4th one, I guess. They think they're slick. So they dropped Reno as the premium. They didn't include a rifle in the base banner. But I guess to be fair, you'd be pulling for Ren on the other. But it would be nice to pull a rifle for him. That's why I struggled and I had to use the other one because I was like, dude, I have no rifle, but I have everything else. It's almost like how they have the gun, the handgun, specifically like for Kafka, right? I don't think anybody else makes use of that. Anyway, this one's interesting actually. Attack plus 28% is actually pretty interesting. At the start of the battle, apply, and this is just the base level 1. Like, what are the stats on this? So this one's stats are lower as well because it gets 40% attack though. Like, holy crap. Yeah, I guess I'll get to a point eventually where I start considering more stats, but for now it's more passive. 28% at the start of the battle applies speed up to all allies. Holy crap, this thing is insane. After the equipped unit activates an ultimate, it gets an attack increase to all. Holy crap, this one is insane. This one is nuts. I think this one is like more of like a support one. Like, think about it. This one would be great on Rio, right? This one would be great on all those support characters. Shoot, this one would be really good on Mina, 4-star Mina. It would be good on Reno too, but I think if you've got Boreas, I would choose. If you don't have Boreas, then that's a tough decision. I think I would go here. The other one has the crit rate, which is good, so there's value to that. I think that one's still better for Reno specifically, just because the sheer damage should be higher. But attack at 28%, because you're not going to dupe this one out either. Attack at 28% is good. And then I was considering the fact the other one does have higher stats by like, what, like 70 attack or something stupid like that. But this is actually really good. That's the first time I'm reading that one. That's actually really good. Hyperion is really good. Wait, they put 2 rifles here? What are they? Okay. Never mind. I thought I knew this. That's my bad. There's 2 rifles here, so that's my mistake. I didn't even consider that. This is the one for support characters. In fact, they both are, but this is the one for supports, really. Before the equipped unit activates combat skills, applies healing multiplier. After the equipped unit activates an ultimate, all allies' ultimate gauge goes up by 3. I mean, the last bit's kind of whatever, though. Getting 3 ultimate gauges, that may be the difference between using your ultimate or not. But the thing is, when the character's turn rolls back around, you could just use the normal attack or something and then immediately use the ultimate right after if you press the button. So, like, I don't really see... Like, this feels like it needs to be, like, 20 or something. 15, even. I don't see 3. What is 3? Is it supposed to be 3%? Like, what is this supposed to... What is 3? Like, I don't get it. I would still use the other one instead of this one, and I don't think it's close. This one is not bad, though, specifically for Akari. Like, it almost is made for Akari because combat skill healing. But there's a 4-star weapon that's similar that I would use because you would just be able to dupe it out. So, yeah. And, by the way, if it wasn't clear, I guess there's not a 5th rifle, so I guess, you know what, they're not really crazy for not putting a 5th rifle. If it wasn't clear, though, not all the weapons are represented in each of these areas. For example, there's no like gloves, I don't know what to call them for Esau. They're not there, right? They've got one here. There's one in the battle pass. So like Esau's got 2 options. I think he's got 2 options only. So there's not everything is represented. So we're going to go back here and look at the cannon. Shot damage up. After the equipped unit activates, the ultimate applies attack plus 7% to the equipped unit for 3 stacks. If there are 2 or fewer Kaiju on the field, the equipped unit's damage dealt goes up as well. That's actually, I mean, there's only one character that's using this right now, right? But that's actually pretty good for her. I think this is really good for her. Like, because she's primarily like, you wouldn't, she's weird. She almost wants to be used in... She kind of has no choice but to be used against other kaiju. But she wants to kind of just go in there and be like a boss wave character. But inevitably, there's always like more waves in the first place. Or more characters, right? She's just a weirdly designed character, Mina. But this is good for her. Late in the fight, 1 enemy left. probably. Then this will help that last bit, the extra damage. Shot damage, attack up. Here's the other cannon here from the Gacha. Higher shot damage. Before the equipped unit activates a normal attack, applies an attack increase and an ultimate. Ooh. She needs the ultimate charge. I don't know that it's a debate anymore. She needs the ultimate charge. I mean, there's other characters that'll make use of this stuff, especially if there isn't now, there will be down the road at some point. But I think she needs that ultimate charge. Let's see the other cannon. I think she really wants that ultimate charge, though. Crit damage. Oh, man, that's nuts, too, because she's got that 100% crit. When the equipped unit activates, attacks a kaiju that has 50% or less, the equipped damage goes up. So she, you know what she's trying to do here? She's trying to be like Kaiju number 8 when they're below 50%. She's trying to delete a dude. That's what she's crit damage up. She's trying to delete somebody, and then you factor her own kit in with her own stacks and stuff. She's trying to delete somebody. I don't think she'd be successful with it unless she's like highly invested in dupe wise. And again, these weapons, no matter how good some of these alternatives are, they still have the same problem of not being able to get dupes. And the dupes make a huge difference. I mean, look, it goes up 20% crit. 6% more damage. Like the dupes make a really big difference. So she's not able to get that, which is unfortunate. So I would still probably say I think the Gacha one, just like I said earlier in the very beginning, is still the best one. What about Hoshina's weapons? Crit damage up. Okay. I mean, they could have put whatever here. If it's crit rate or damage, I would rather have damage, but they could put whatever because he's got so much of crit everything. After the equipped unit activates attacks a core exposed kaiju, applies damage dealt for 3 turns to the equipped unit. That's a support effect. That's super good. Oh, wait, no. I read that as damage sustained. My bad. I read that as damage sustained for some reason. On the enemy. Like, they would have a debuff. That's not what this is. 3 turns, extra 10% is good, though. So everything he does after their core exposed gives him that. It doesn't say it stacks, which would be kind of insane. That would be insane. The crit damage up is pretty good, though. Let's see what else we have here in the shop. I think there's 3 of those sword weapons. Speed. Oh, speed is interesting. After the equipped unit activates normal or combat skill, if a critical occurs, damage dealt as well for 2 turns. Before the equipped unit activates an AoE, applies slash damage to the equipped unit. So, like, this one is just the best one for him. And it's not even like, it's speed plus 25%. That's really strong. This one actually has, like, 4 really strong stats in it, technically, with that. I mean, they all do, right? But speed, I think, is crazy. In a turn-based game, speed is king. And this is just, I don't know that it's even debatable with this one. I like the other one. I just don't know that it's debatable. I think that one is just so much better. Maybe something will happen here. Slash damage. Before activating an ultimate, gets 21% for 3 turns to attack. That's good. That's at level 1, too. 29 it goes up to. 80 or more damage dealt. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The other one's, the Gacha one's far and away the best version. It does not compare. Let's see again. Slash damage up. After the equipped unit activates combat skill, applies damage dealt plus 5% to the equipped unit. 3 stacks. Okay. That's really good because Gen's always hitting all those enemies. It helps to offset the slightly lower modifiers he has for the adjacent hits. After the equipped unit activates ultimate, applies ultimate gauge charge rate plus 13% for 2 turns. Oh. So he's able to get the second ultimate faster. Nice. Some of this stuff I already knew because I have read these once upon a time, but it's just so hard to commit everything to memory. Okay. Each time the equipped unit destroys a plate, activates or applies attack plus 4% to the equipped unit, stacking 6 times. After the equipped unit causes a kaiju to be core exposed, applies damage dealt to the equipped unit for 2. This one's insane, though. This one is insane. This one's really good for Gen. This one is really good for Gen because he's always trying to destroy plates. There's always 3 enemies. He's dual type. That's his. I think that's his best attribute. Is the fact that he's such a great and quick breaker, and he's always causing them to be core exposed. So like this is perfect, and the slash damage as well. I think that one is insane. Like I think that weapon is ridiculous. Let's go back to the battle pass and see the other one. I think that weapon is ridiculous. I mean, okay. I guess you get crit rate. That's the best thing about this. The other one's good, but we just read the other one. Like, that this doesn't compare to that. I guess because there's very minimal. In fact, there's basically no criteria. It's very rare. I think I've seen 4 enemies once. Like, it's very rare to see more than 3. So, like, you're pretty much always getting 18 and 16. So, okay. This one isn't bad. It's got solid attack as well. Like, it's not bad. I think on first glance, it's kind of impressive, but it's not bad. But I still would choose the other one. The other one's just too good, I think. In fact, both of the other ones. Let's see the Gatling. Crit up. Each time the equipped unit attacks one kaiju? Wait, what? Applies attack plus 2% of the equipped unit. So this either means there needs to be 1 enemy on the board, or she will get 3 stacks for each hit. I'm going to assume it's the latter because she has 10 stacks total. This is for an AoE, like almost. I think she's entirely AoE. Maybe she has 1 skill. Obviously, the follow-up doesn't really count. But maybe her normal isn't, but her other 2 skills are. So, like, I'm going to assume that's the case. It's you get 3 stacks if there's 3 enemies. You get 2 if there's 2, so on and so forth. In which case, that's not bad. If there are 3 or more kaiju on the field, the equipped unit's attack goes up. That's good at the start. Gets worse as they start dropping. When the equipped unit activates combat or ultimate against a kaiju that has 50% or less, the equipped unit's damage goes up. That's good to help offset her low modifiers. That's for Rin, right? Rin Shinami. That's good to help offset her low modifiers on her moves. But I still wouldn't... Oh, there's no other Gatling, huh? There's only 2 Gatlings? Okay. Neither is particularly impressive. But neither is the character. Yeah, that's one where it's like just choose whatever you want, I guess. Neither is the character though, like I said, like it's not a huge deal. It doesn't truly matter. I guess she was the one that lost out for that extra rifle because there's one of every. No, there's no. 3 for the. So there's 1 less item here, period, and then there's double rifle. So her and Isao both lost out on this. So okay. Speaking of Isao, let's look at the gauntlets. That's what they're called, gauntlets. I call them gloves. And it says gauntlet there. I couldn't think of that word at the time. Defense up plus 34% after the equipped unit receives an attack. Applies defense up by 25% for 1 turn to the equipped unit. If the equipped unit has a shield, all allies get damage reduction as well. So short and sweet, very straightforward. Defense is his true attack stat because he scales off of that with his hardest hitting move. So that's a benefit. He's getting a good amount of defense from this at level 1, and obviously it goes way up. So that's a really strong weapon for him. That is the gacha one overall. So, I mean, it's probably going to be like Rin, where it's not. It's kind of a toss-up, I'd assume, because there's only 2 choices, unless this one's just flat out better or bad, I guess. Didn't the other one have 38% defense to start? This one's got 23. After he activates a normal attack, applies damage taken reductions for 2 turns to the equipped unit. Okay, so that's got value. But this is not. No, you use the other gauntlets. No, you use the other. No, that has value. Taking less because he has the aggro and stuff. You use the other gauntlets, man. You're using the other gauntlets. You know why? Now that I think about it, you know why? I brought this up earlier. You know why there's so many rifles? is because there's so many characters that use rifles. Like damn near all the SR characters, 4-star characters use rifles. That's why there's so many rifles technically. Like all these characters down here are using rifle, suit, rifle, rifle. See what I said? See what I said? All the rifle right here. There's another one. Mina had a rifle. So like that's the Akari has a rifle. Rifle's the most common by far. So that's why there's so many rifles. And they still could have had one more rifle technically, right? They had what, 5? So there's good diversity in rifles. Is there 4 or 5? I don't know. There's good diversity, but that's why there's so many goddamn rifles, because there's so many rifle characters. I should have brought that up earlier. I like alluded to it when I said that there's a lot of rifles in the game, but like, you know. Overall though, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I had been asked to like cover all the different sets, because I don't know if people realize there's 3 sets of weapons, because they're all over the place. You saw me jumping back and forth throughout the video. Like you can't really, like, there's no place to go to see them. You got to go all around, so you may not even know that they exist, right? And it's not like this is a PvP game where you see like, wait, what's that weapon that guy has? Like, it doesn't matter, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And if you want to see more videos like this on the screen, there are some, and I will see you in those videos.